Well, hi, welcome to my sewing studio. Come on in. Well, we'll start off here first. So this is where I gather my inspiration. This is my mood board. I love that this is a nice linen framed bulletin board. I think that's really cute, and it's not like the traditional cork board, so it really adds some elegance to this room. But anyway, right now I'm working on a project that I will showcase very soon with this beautiful applique work. And then I have my wedding cake on here actually to give me a better idea of what I'm thinking of for my project. So it's going to be this really pretty applique Wedgwood type shirt. If you don't know what Wedgwood is, it is a pottery company. They do a lot of plates. We actually got our wedding plates from there. So nice. But anyway, and then I have these two dress forms. So I actually recently changed sizes. I used to fit into more of this type size, and it's still good for draping the waist and the hips, but unfortunately the top I just no longer fit into. So I got out my other dress form, which I initially bought. This one's not my favorite. It's not like the best quality one. It does the trick, but I padded it up with some batting, and then I have this muslin that I'm working on, and this is going to be for my pattern drafting series, which also very excited to release to you. Anyway, so I'm currently fitting this, and these two are just very helpful for when I drape, when I try on things. This one has pretty much my whole body measurements in it, and the really great thing about this one is it has this stretchy material that kind of comes up, and you can just stuff the batting up in there, and then it comes right back down. Doesn't have the best style lines because of it, but it does the trick. I think what I'm gonna do is after I fit this perfectly, I'm gonna make a cover for this, and we'll just put it on top, and it'll be so much better than that stretchy one. The stretchy one kind of compresses things a little, so I always have to add extra batting to it, which I don't love. But anyway, this is my inspiration corner. As you can see, it has a lot of really pretty inspiration on it right now. Once fall kind of gets more underway, I will transition over to a physical copy of my fall mood board. But right now, I have that mood board on my iPad in Notability, which not sponsored on any of this stuff, but really do like Notability as a way to take notes and to journal and to find inspiration. Next, we have my book inspiration. So this is where I house all my reference books, and scattered throughout, just because I don't have enough room in my studio, are some regular books like textbooks for when I was in college, and some things like the Chronicles of Narnia, for instance. But this is my favorite corner to get reference type material. I love this Creating Couture Embellishments book. It has been and as you can see, this is very tight fitting, but this one has such nice details, and it gives you such a great overview of different trims and different techniques you can use to make your clothes even more special. They are very time consuming, so I haven't done a lot of them yet, but I'm really trying to explore this year, or next year rather, because we're getting close to the end of this year. Then we have some of my bag design books, we have Threads magazine, and then we have some of my inspiration books. Like, I'm such a fan of Dior, so I have the Catwalk book of Dior, very expensive for a book. I think it was like $80 or $90. I'm sure it's way more now because I bought this like 5 or 6 years ago, but really love that. And in these binders, we have vintage patterns. So let me show you one of my favorites. It's this one, and it's such a lovely pattern to use, and I don't know, I keep all my Vogue Paris patterns in here, like this Christian Dior one, Milo Lanvin, Pierre Balmain. So basically I keep all my fancy patterns in this one, and some of these other binders, I just keep vintage patterns in here. So we have vintage Simplicity from the 60s. We have vintage McCall's from the 70s and 80s. I'm not really a big fan of the 80s, so I don't have a ton, but basically all of these are just really good resources, and occasionally I'll use them to make a pattern or to adjust a pattern. And on the bottom row, we have things like new crafts I'm trying to get into, some swatches, but for instance, I'm working on a needlepoint canvas, which I've never done before. I find this very challenging, but my neighbor downstairs has this really cool thing that she does, and she does a lot of needle pointing. So I've been trying to get into this, and she's been helping me along the way. She's very busy right now, so I haven't been able to do a lot of this, but my goal is to actually finish this whole canvas very soon. I have these swatches that I was trying to find in Hermes Orange. This one's the closest to it, but it's gonna be for some pillows for our living room. Also, I've gotten into leather working a little, so I have these bag patterns that I have cut out, and I just need to start using the leather, or I just need to start tracing these out onto the leather and trying to make them look as nice as possible and make some cute bags. In addition, I have a lot of my filmmaking books down here because at a time I thought it would be really cool to do a lot of filmmaking, clever, creative stuff. I have since fallen out of that practice, unfortunately, and that's just because I don't really know how to do this with a sewing channel. When I had a different YouTube channel, I was trying to make artsy-fartsy things, and that was really cool, but unfortunately, it's just not conducive to this medium. At least I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I should try it. But anyway, that's kind of what all these books are down here. So it's just been a hodgepodge of different things down here. I also have some of my storytelling books down there on how to create better stories. Moving on, we have this very small space right next to my bookshelf, or my bookcase, and this is where I house some of my leather. It's also where I house some of my more ambitious sewing projects, like I want to sew curtains. So I have a huge roll of fabric right here. This cardboard box houses some new leather that I got. It's dual tone blue, so on either side it has blue. I'm not really sure what to make with it yet because it's very slouchy material, and most of the bag patterns I have are very structured, so we'll see how that goes. I also have my embroidery projects up here, and then I have some pattern paper back there, so that's really nice. And in this door we have my fabric, we have some extra materials and things like muslin and interfacing, zippers, the works. So please do not judge the state of this closet. It is very messy. We have all my fabric up here, and we have some boxes. I don't really know what is in there. We have more fabric in here hanging on these hangers. I also have some of my fall winter stuff in here, and then we have some gift wraps so that during the Christmas and birthday seasons I have plenty to wrap with. And then in here, you can see that we have some interfacing, some lining, we have some muslin, there are zippers in this one. And then there's more boxes and things down here like sheets that I have. And finally, we have some Legos. I don't really know why. And down here, we have my printer, which is really helpful for printing out PDF patterns. I also have some more random books right here because, again, lack of space. I am very, very fortunate to have a studio all to myself. My husband and I have a 3-bedroom apartment. It's a huge luxury. I'm very grateful. We also got it right before the pandemic, so we've been here for about 5 years, and it's been such a blessing to have this space. Now, if we ever have kids, it's gonna be a little tight, and we're gonna have to find a way to get more space in here, and we'll probably have to put a crib and changing table and things like that. But for right now, it is my sanctuary, my place where I love to come and enjoy life and sew to my heart's content. I have more patterns, so I have a bunch of simplicity patterns in here, as well as some Calls and Vogue and whatnot. And all of these patterns I keep in here because I typically like to reference them. Now, again, I really want to learn pattern drafting and pattern making, so I won't need quite so many patterns, but some of these are just things that I'm not gonna ever pattern draft, like knits. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. So it's just nice to have some basic patterns in here. And also, I don't like reinventing the wheel. The other thing I have in here is a bunch of inspiration for different things that I really like. So there is this company called The Fold London. I am obsessed with their stuff. They have the most beautiful workwear, and Unfortunately, I have nowhere to wear this because I work from home, but it's just, they have the most glamorous thing. So it's inspiration for if I ever go back to work. I mean, but who knows, with AI and everything, we might not ever work again, but I don't know. It would be nice to have some really professional looking and gorgeous looking workwear. Like, would you look at that yellow dress? I mean, it's just stunning. I also have some files up here. This pulls out, so it's really easy to get to. I also have quite a bit of my filming equipment down here. So I have things like lights, I have an easel for drawing, and then I have some tripods underneath because space is at a premium. But it's really convenient to be able to do that. And then occasionally I'll hit it with my feet when I'm sitting in my desk right here, but it's not that big a deal. So I really like this. In this bag, this is where I keep all my camera equipment. I love this bag. It's called a Brevite, and it has so many pockets, and it's the perfect, for what I have right now. I don't have a ton of camera equipment. I have a couple lenses. I have some microphones. I have a couple of really cool gizmos and gadgets, some filters, but they all live in here. Just put that right underneath my desk, and it's the perfect size for it. Now, this pink cart I thought was so pretty, and I'm really glad I got it. It's from the Container Store, but I keep my ironing supplies on this, some crochet stuff, some knitting stuff, and then I have my craft paper, which I use to help draft patterns and things. And I have some other things up here, like a silk organza pressing cloth. I have some pens, and I have tape. So this is really nice as well because it just gives me a lot of opportunity to move around, and when I use my ironing board, it just is a mobile station for me. So I will move this cutting table into the middle of the room, so like right here-ish, and then I will just set this up. Now, we have doors on either side right here, and so it's really difficult to move in and out and around the space, especially when this is set up, because it's like around 57 inches by 36 inches once it's all put out, once all the leaves are put out. And it's not the sturdiest thing in the world, but it does the trick. And it has these really great drawers that kind of pull out, their metal drawers, and then it has a shelf underneath. So it has more storage space than what I had before. It's a fantastic product. I'm really happy I got it. And then it's on casters, which is really nice so that I can roll it in and out without scratching the floors or anything. Now over here we have my sewing table. So I do most of my sewing in here. Sometimes I'll take it into the dining room just so I have more space, especially with really large projects. I created this kind of L-style desk where it kind of goes from here to here. It was not originally set up like that. As you can see, there's another bookshelf here that flanks either side of the desk over here. But basically what I thought is that I wanted something that would maximize my space over here. And there is a huge space along this wall and along this wall as well, which is why I set it up like this. I also have my serger over here, but when I use that and I have the sewing machine set up, I have to like position them and move them around. It's not ideal, but it works. And then I also have this nice setup for my thread. I have buttons and notions in here that I can easily access. What I like about this is that all my threads are organized into the various colors that you need. So it's been really convenient. And then I have my sketchbooks over here and some notebooks. And then these are just books that I read for fun or that I use for references for different learnings and things. There's Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorite books. There are some nonfiction, there's some fiction. It's all over the place. Now over here we have more photos that inspire me and that are just kind of pretty to have in my office. I have this tiny dress form because, you can never have enough dress forms. This one helps me learn how to drape. I really appreciate that, or it'll help me start a new idea. And so this one is great because I don't have to spend a lot of money on a ton of fabric. I also have this fabulous cutting mat, and this has been really helpful. So yesterday I used this to cut out a new pattern, and it took me no time at all. Love the grid on it. Love that you can just use a rotary cutter on it. It is fantastic. It was kind of expensive just because it fits on my whole table, and as many of you know, these can run into quite expensive territory, especially the larger sizes. So this cutting mat has been an absolute a wonderful addition to my studio. I'm so excited that I have it. And this is where I sit and do work during the day. So when I'm at my office job, I have these 3 monitors. The laptop is including the third monitor, but I really like this because it's right near the windows. And when my eyes are strained or I need a little break, I just look out the window and see all the beautiful trees and nature. So it's a beautiful area to look at, and I just really enjoy it. Now there is a house right here next to us, and it's very cramped. There's like maybe 2 feet in between our houses, but it's still nice to look out the window and just enjoy the sunlight. And the way the sunlight streams through in the afternoon and especially in the morning, it's very bright. It wakes me up. It's just nice. Often I will change out this laptop and put my personal laptop on here and connect it to this monitor and this monitor sometimes. And I do my video editing over here. This chair is super comfortable. It's a Herman Miller chair. I bought this during the pandemic because, well, most people that were working corporate jobs went to working from home. I decided to invest in a really nice chair. I am extremely fortunate to work from home. I find that it is better for my health. It is better for my mental health. And I don't like driving anyway, so it's been really nice not to have to drive to the office. So occasionally we'll drive to the office to meet up for group activities and things like that. But for right now, I really enjoy working from home. And then I have a lovely picture of my wedding with my parents and my husband and my little brother. So that's really nice to look at as well. It's just a nice little memento. I also have some cards, stationery. Back here, I have a stapler. I have a stapler remover. Now we come into this corner. This is where I house my ironing board and my tracing paper. I love this ironing board. It is so super stable. It's called Barbantia? I don't know. But it's great. It's really sturdy. It's the best ironing board I've ever had. Unfortunately, it is also very expensive, but I guess you get what you pay for. So it has this nice little ledge on it, which is really good. It's quite dusty and dirty right now, and it has all these markings on it because I did fusible interfacing onto this without putting something on underneath. So unfortunately, that's there. Then I have my tracing paper right here, and I got these from Susan Calgi. They're super, super large, and they are perfect for tracing large patterns. I love tracing my seam lines on here so that I have accurate seam lines. I love that they come in different colors. The white does totally come out of things, so when you iron over it, it does come out. But the red, yellow, and blue stay there permanently. It's a wax paper, so you have to be super careful when you're using it. But that just lives right here. And you might be wondering, how do you do your camera when you are on your work conference calls? And that, my friends, is a blurred background because this looks very messy in the background, but it's necessary for the purposes of this room. I'm also very excited because my husband recently hung all my pictures. As I said, we've been here for almost 5 years and we have not hung all our pictures yet in this house. So one of the things that I recently did was I begged him to hang my pretty pictures in here. So this one is Welcome to Alexandra's Bridal Shower. So obviously when I was getting married, I had a bridal shower. My best friend made the best bridal shower I could have imagined. She literally had a charcuterie table. Not a charcuterie board, a whole dining room table filled with charcuterie. But anyway, this was the beautiful poster that she printed out on the heavy poster board. And my mom had it framed for my birthday or for Christmas. Anyway, it was a lovely gesture and I really like this. And it just provides so much of a different ambiance than what was in here before. It was plain, it was drab. I don't really like the wall color in here, but I'm unwilling to paint it because I don't want to paint it back. And again, we have more photos over here. I really like these photos. These were given to me as Christmas gifts from my parents. And I just love the Barbie illustrations. They're so cute and they're just so pretty and elegant, and it makes the mood in here and I really like it. I mean, you do you. You might not like what I have in here, but it just inspires me. And that's the most important thing about having a workspace, is that it inspires you. So whether you have a tiny little corner in your dining room where you're keeping everything, or if you are lucky enough to have a huge workspace, it's just really nice to have all this inspiration for yourself. Finally, we have some containers on top of my bookshelf. I keep things like leatherworking material in here, different craft supplies such as glue sticks, and a hot glue gun. I also keep a lot of emery boards in here for various leatherworking projects. I have glue, I have some leather scraps, and then I keep more of my Threads magazines up here. Threads is such a great resource for different sewing techniques. It's great for learning more. Like I have this Threads article on how to make a strapless dress that doesn't fall down. That is such a good idea, and I cannot wait to make a strapless gown at some point that does not fall off my bust, so I won't have to be pulling it up all the time. The one reason why I had a wedding gown that was not strapless, besides it didn't look the best on me, was because I didn't want to constantly be pulling up. So I actually had straps that were taken in a little bit, and it looked so elegant and it was really nice, but I didn't have to worry about it falling down the whole night. So when I was dancing, when I was having fun, it was just great. And over here we have embroidery hoops, so that when I want to embroider things, I have these large hoops. I do need to wrap them in some calico so that they kind of protect the fabric and help it stay in shape, or at least that's what I've heard online to do. But I will occasionally do an embroidery project, and this is what I use for those hand embroidery.